it's this guy here for the Mission Report. I've been watching this Las Vegas false flag go on and on. There is so much speculation. It's not even funny. The trolls are out trying to point everybody in the wrong direction. I have found an incredible video analyzing the event, and I think it'll prove that there are two shooters involved with this. But a few things that I want you to keep in mind while you're being fed this line of BS. So number one, 59 killed, 500 injured. The streets would have been clogged with ambulance and emergency personnel. I have yet to see one video, picture, anything where there's ambulances flooding to the scene. Think about it, it's Las Vegas. They're waiting for some dumbass to shit his liver out at a poker table. There's going to be a lot of EMT. So where were all those people? The second thing, you watch a few videos of these victims, quote-unquote victims, in the hospital. One guy is shot in the shin and shot in the leg. Now, I've never been shot in the leg, but being shot from a high-caliber rifle is going to do a lot of damage. Not going to go into the science of it all. You could figure that out. But let's just say there's a lot of surgery going on. You would not be wanting to talk to anybody, let alone alive, a few days after that. You would be heavily sedated. You would not be joking around. Every video that I've seen of people in the hospital, they're all perfectly fine, like nothing's ever happened. Very strange. The next thing I want to point out to you is that even still, 10, 11, 12 days after this event, they still can't get the story straight on what exactly happened in this hotel. How could that be? Let me remind everybody, this is Las Vegas. This has so much security, it's not even funny. Every hallway, every corridor, everything is monitored. You go shooting a rifle in a hotel room, you know what? The smoke detector will pick you up. They will know exactly what room you're in. There would not be any guessing. So keep those things in mind when you're watching these videos, when you're watching the news at night. I don't think things are adding up, and the owners of this country are having a hard time making you believe it. So what I want to show you is this video, awesome video, explaining how there were two shooters. A lot of math going on. Don't let your eyes glaze over. A lot of good information. So let's check that out.
In honor of our fallen brothers and sisters in Las Vegas, and in the spirit of true journalism and a devotion to individual liberties, I bring you another heavily censored, demonetized video. If you guys want to support the channel, the links are in the description below. You can get some of these glasses or pick up one of these hard-hitting shirts. You guys enjoy and share this video.
It should be pretty obvious by now that the reason YouTube, Facebook, Google, and mainstream media continually censor content like this is because they have no interest in uncovering or delivering the truth. What they want is to spread across this land a politically charged, divisive narrative which further drives a wedge between human beings. They want us to continually bicker among ourselves about black, white, brown. They want there to exist a division based on party affiliation, and they promote an atmosphere which strengthens the chains of our oppression by feeding us half-truths, concocted reports, official stories, and blatant lies. This video right here is a distillation of this incredibly thorough video published by Mike Adams from Natural News. If you haven't seen his video or subscribed to his channel, I'll leave his links in the description. He's got some rational, articulate, thought-provoking content I think you'll benefit from. I watched Mike's video 4 times, pausing and taking notes, taking time to do the math, double verify, and check out his facts. And so I wanted to deliver to you the video Cliff Notes version and breakdown of his 29-minute video, which depends on nothing but mathematics and physics. So here we go. According to forensic acoustic analysis based on YouTube videos anybody can download and check out for themselves, if they were really concerned about bringing wrongdoers to justice, we have solid scientific proof that there were 2 shooters in Las Vegas firing into the crowd. Not one lone, physics-defying 64-year-old gambler who was never recorded going into or out of room 135 on the 32nd floor of Mandalay Bay. There were 2 shooters in Las Vegas that night. The principle which leads us to such a grounded conclusion is simple: extracting acoustic information and then analyzing that to pull out signal from surrounding noise. While we're critical of the FBI and law enforcement entities who succumb so easily to mainstream storylines and become agents of propaganda, alternative media sources and channels like this one are more than happy to help them figure out what really happened that night and maybe nab some real criminals. Here's some basic physics and math. The kind of thing that can't be influenced by political agendas or deceptive plots to deceive the masses. The speed of sound is 343 meters per second, or 1,125 feet per second. The speed of a 55 grain Remington 223 round is approximately 935 meters per second, or around 3,200 feet per second initial velocity, after which the speed quickly drops off. The farther the bullet flies, it loses velocity according to its ballistics coefficient value. Now, if you guys want to verify and figure this out for yourself, you can. Create your own custom ballistics report with a chart like this one on gundata.org. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. What people need to understand is that bullets arrive first on the scene before the sound arrives. It's important to understand this because in the audio analysis, we have to be honest with the facts. And though people would like them to, nothing, no cover-up, nefarious agenda, or fake news report can alter the laws of physics and math. If a bullet, which is traveling almost 3 times the speed of sound when it leaves the barrel, is able to make it downrange 600 yards, it's still moving at supersonic speeds. It hasn't reached a point where it becomes subsonic. Bullet flight time is a vital consideration. Bullet flight time is how long it takes a bullet to arrive at its final destination. Because of the rate at which the bullet is dropping, according to quadratic equation, the flight time is not a linear function, so you need a ballistics chart, which you can also get from gundata.org. And here's how you do it. Go to gundata.org/ballistics/calculator, go to the projectile parameters. Next to bullet caliber, I'm choosing the Remington 223. Next to the bullet name, I'm picking the Remington AccuTip boat tail. This gives you the ballistics coefficient, initial velocity in feet per second, and weight for the particular bullet you choose. Now click on Calculate, and there's your chart. That's how simple it is. This external ballistics calculator accurately details all aspects of the bullet's trajectory the millisecond it leaves the gun's barrel. It creates a proper ballistics trajectory chart that details range, drop, velocity, energy in feet per second, and time. So the flight time to 400 yards, or about 366 meters, is 0.528 seconds, or a little more than a half a second for a Remington 223 55 grain round fired from a 16.5-inch barrel. So here's a question. How long does it take the sound of the rifle shooting to travel that same distance as the bullet? If you know that sound travels at 343 meters per second, and you know the bullet travels at 975 meters per second, then you automatically know that it's going to take longer for the sound to reach the impact point than it does the bullet. In other words, the bullet arrives in a half a second and the sound arrives at least another half second later. So there's a time gap in between the time the bullet hits and the time that the report sound from the rifle arrives. The basic fundamentals of this ballistic forensic acoustic analysis is that the bullet arrives first. Now take a look at this sound waveform. These peaks represent the sound of bullets nearby as they strike the pavement and other objects on the ground. These bullet impacts create high frequency sound waves. By contrast, these are the sound waves of the distant reports coming from the gun barrel far away after the bullets have arrived. These reports have a lower frequency sound wave. Again, high frequency sound spectra is associated with the nearby pavement hits of the bullet, while low frequency sound spectra is associated with the faraway rifle report in the distance. Now, why is there a difference in the sound frequency between these two types of sounds? The answer has to do with the transmission of sound frequencies through the medium of air. As this graph shows, sound frequency versus sound transmission is an inverse relationship. So the lower your frequency, which includes dull sounds, have very high transmission over long distances because they involve longer wavelengths. You can hear this in music. If you're listening to music from a party a block away, you can easily hear the dull sound of the bass guitar over the high shrill of an electric guitar. Higher frequency sounds, on the other hand, high-pitched sounds like a violin or bullet impact on metal or pavement, have a very low transmission through the air. Why? Because they involve short wavelengths. Small wavelengths suffer what's called
attenuation
during transmission, which means they're reduced or silenced as they travel through the air. This is why if you hear gunshots in the distance, they're low, dull sounds, not high-frequency sounds. Here's an example of a gunfire sound wave from the Las Vegas shooting of high-frequency sounds of bullets hitting the pavement, followed by the distant report of the gun blast. Now we're just going to listen to the high-frequency sound wave of the bullets hitting the pavement. And right here is just the low-frequency sound wave of the distant rifle reports arriving to your ear. And again, here's the high-frequency sound wave of bullet strikes, followed by the low-frequency rifle report. The high-frequency rounds hitting the pavement followed by the low-frequency rifle report is important to recognize because based on this information, you can get the time code of these sounds. This is the sound signature of the last bullet hitting the pavement, and this is the sound signature of the last low-frequency report from the rifle. The difference between these 2 points is the time it took for the rifle report to catch up to the impact point. This is the lag time. And this lag time is expressed in fractions of a second. What's important to understand is that this lag time, because of the laws of physics and the speed of sound and the ballistics coefficient velocity of the bullet itself, this lag time tells you the distance of the shooter from your present location. And this is super important, so I'll repeat it. The lag time between when the bullet strikes and when the rifle blast sound arrives tells you the range or distance of your shooter from the impact point. This simple spreadsheet shows the distance in yards and the lag time, or the time it takes a Remington 223 55 grain bullet to travel that distance. So for example, if you detect a lag time of 0.597 seconds, the shooter is 600 yards away. If you detect a lag time of 0.311 seconds, your shooter is 200 yards away. Remember, this table is specific to the 223 Remington 55 grain bullet only, but it can be modified for any cartridge. The lag time betrays the range. The reason this is important is obvious. The forensic acoustic analysis reveals that there were 2 shooters, not just one as law enforcement and mainstream media want you to believe. While the fake stream sock puppets and their fellow prostitutes propagate the lone shooter conspiracy theory, simple science says they're wrong. Regardless of what they say, there were 2 shooters. Shooter number 1 has a lag time in the audio file of 0.559 seconds or 425 to 450 yards. How do we know? Let's look at the chart. 0.559 is between 400 and 500 yards, and that is the distance of Mandalay Bay. We can't tell the height or what floor they're on, but we can tell the range. So through the forensic acoustic method, we have confirmation that there's a shooter at 425 to 450 yards away. Of course, they blame Steve and Patsy, Paddock, for this, but there's no video evidence that Paddock ever entered or exited room 135 or even walked down the floor 32 hallway for that matter. But we also have another shooter which shows up in this acoustic analysis. Shooter number 2 appears throughout the audio file, and the acoustic waveform shows us that he has a lag time of 0.374 seconds. Where is 0.374 seconds on our ballistics chart? It's between 200 and 300 yards. What's interesting is that shooter number 2's waveform is intermixed with shooter number 1. But this forensic acoustic analysis is confirmed by multiple videos that there's a far away shooting sound and a nearby shooting sound from the perspective of one recorded location. like this taxi driver video.
Now it sounds like it's coming from farther away.
And because of the different burst patterns in this video, we know that these are not echoes off nearby buildings. So let's see what these calculations look like on a map of the area. In this map, north is the top and south is the bottom. Here is the concert venue area. If we plot a point in the center of the concert area and draw a red circle with a radius of 425 yards and another one with a radius of 475 yards, you can see that this circular area includes Mandalay Bay as within that range for one of the shooters. Now we'll plot a yellow circle from the center with a radius of 250 yards and another one with a radius of 300 yards as indicated by the forensic acoustic evidence of the verified second shooter. The logical question if you were leading an honest investigation is, what buildings or elevated locations within this parameter intersects with this forensically established area? A quick Google flyover gives us some possible vantage points of the second shooter. Here's the Illuminati Pyramid Luxor Hotel, AM/PM, the Roman Catholic Shrine, and some apartments as possible second shooting positions. And in the spirit of leaving no stone unturned, consider this as a possible shooting position. With the high-level criminals we've seen in the past, the freedom-grabbing agendas they're trying to push down our throats, and the massive amounts of money nefarious agents stand to make or lose, nothing is off the table. Everything in this range needs to be combed through for spent brass if the investigators are taking this crime scene seriously. The question is, why haven't they done this already? Why does it have to take someone in alternative media posting a video on YouTube to get these people to do anything? Guys, none of us is greater than all of us. Let's put our heads together and do the job mainstream media and law enforcement is not willing for whatever reason to do.
So that was an awesome video. That said a lot and made a lot of sense. But I want to point something else out to you. There's a reason why they have not figured out who the real shooter is, why they can't put the pieces together. And let me explain. These guys watch these hotels like there's no tomorrow. There is security on every corridor. They can see everything. They would be able to see exactly who's walking in and out of their casino. They know. And if your face is a face that shouldn't be there, it'll change a color and they'll come and get you. You're not going to be able to get into your room. You're not going to get much further past the door. That said, they will have the video of this individual, Sheen, the security guard, the cop, whoever. Why was the security guard even there? But they would know exactly who did this. There wouldn't be any guessing game going on. We know this because on 9/11, they did it there. They were able to show us these guys walking through the airport. So if the casino wanted to, if this was an actual event, we would have by now seen the video of this guy in the hallway doing this stuff. So I like the presentation of the video that we were just watching. But let me tell you where I think the second shooter actually was. And I'm really surprised that the video didn't point this out. But there was a Ferris wheel that either hasn't been built or is being taken down in the in that Ferris wheel, in order to maintain the wheel part of it, the support tubes, the vertical support tubes, have a ladder, have a doorway. You climb up the ladder. This would be a perfect place to overlook the entire music venue. You'd have a perfect view. So what I am suggesting is that the second shooter was in that tower, one of those two towers, probably the one closest to the stage. You can see that they have marked out a red area for one shooter and a yellow area for another shooter. Now, those aren't exact pinpoint locations, those are guesstimations. So it could easily have been somebody inside of one of these towers. Here, let me show you what I'm talking about. There's the stage, here's the towers, and you can see the shooter has a perfect angle. Reports of shots being fired behind the stage. This fits perfectly. Let me give you another angle. So see, you could clearly see that this is a very good location if you were a sniper. Good concealment. Nobody would ever think to look up there. So this is Google Map. Here's another position. You could see the stage on the right and the tower on the left. But here's some footage right from the actual event. And you can see those towers prominently in the background. It's easy to see this is a very plausible position for a sniper. Nobody would think to look up there. Everybody would be running around trying to protect themselves. Nobody would think to look up there. Not after they hear about the broken windows in the hotel. So this looks like a perfect place for a sniper to me. Just kind of obvious. Okay, let me show you this real quick. So here's the Mandalay Bay right here. Here's the Luxor. Here is the stage. And here is our two towers. I'm going to zoom down in here. Let's see if I could do... Oh, well, I could do this.
What we're dealing with here is a complete lack of respect for the law.
So you could see these towers would have a really good view. Maybe we'll get down even lower. Yeah, see, that's a pretty good view if you want to shoot a bunch of people in the dark and not be seen. And you could tell there's a place for people to stand up in here. So I wouldn't really mark it out. But the crazy thing, here's what I want to show you. Look how easy it would be to get away. That is not a very far distance. Just a little over 6 football fields. And they are out of here. That's how easy this could have all gone down. Everybody's left over here looking for a patsy.
I saw that, you son of a bitch!
And the real shooters get away out the airport. So let me know what you think. Give me a subscribe, tell a friend, leave a comment. For the Bitchin' Report, I'm this guy here, bringing you the information you need to be an informed human being.